If you've ever rented an apartment in a high price market like Boston, New York City, or San Francisco, you've likely come across the dreaded apartment broker fee. I'm Tyler, and full disclosure, I am a broker who charges those fees, but as a market insider, I know the ins and outs of how to avoid them and how to lock down an apartment for free. I'll finish up this video by letting you know my secret to finding a good rental agent if you do end up working with one, but for now, let's get into it. So the first question that needs to be answered is, where do you find an apartment for no fee? Now, you'll want to start by using the traditional popular websites such as Zillow, Craigslist, StreetEasy, etc. Just a tip that Zillow actually owns HotPads and Trulia, so you're essentially getting the same data on all those sites. Now, once you're on those sites, you want to either look for a no fee filter or create a search with the keyword no fee or by owner. Once that's done, if the site offers automatic updates, go ahead and set up for those, and then you can view them as they come into your inbox sporadically. So I am headed over to Zillow right now, where I brought in search results for Boston, Mass. I'm just going into the search function, and under keywords, I'm going to put in no fee and by owner, just like I said. Now, once I search for this, it's going to whittle down my results. And I'm just going to zoom in here, pull up a listing, and as you can see, this one actually has no broker fee. And then you can see the agent and the brokerage info right here. Now, if you search for no fee, you'll likely find listings through a broker like the one in my example, where the landlord is paying the fee for the tenant. If you search by owner, you'll likely find listings where the owner is advertising themselves and not using a broker. This is more ideal because you can connect straight to the owner and you can create rapport with them, which can be a huge advantage by cutting out the middleman. The next method of locating a no-fee apartment is through social media groups. So on Facebook, you can almost always find a group dedicated to housing or rentals in your city. Within these groups, it's possible to find people who are looking for tenants to take over their lease because they had to end it early. In this case, it's possible to take over a lease without a fee, or the outgoing tenants or landlords could potentially pay that fee for you. A downfall of these groups is that there's a lot of people looking to find sublets or roommates, so you'll likely have to weed through those requests to find an actual listing for a full apartment. The last method of finding something no fee is to walk or drive neighborhoods and look for those old for rent signs. Now, there's still a lot of old school landlords who have always rented apartments through signage and they just don't want to change. You might think this is too outdated, but I can say from experience that I've grown my brokerage through this exact same method. It actually works and there is significant opportunity out there. Another important note to avoid fees is if you're looking for a luxury unit in one of those newer complexes with a dedicated leasing department, you can walk right into that leasing office and rent the apartment directly through the building. You do not have to use an agent to rent these apartments. Actually, if you do use an agent, you may end up paying them their fee when you didn't have to. So for these newer complexes, go straight to the leasing office. Now, if you're able to locate some no-fee listings, congratulations. The next step is to get out there and view those listings. It's very important to see them in person because sometimes there'll be no fee for a reason, like they'll be next to train tracks or in a busy intersection or has some other drawback. If you're not there in person, then try to get a friend or family member to take a look for you. If you're working through a broker for the no-fee listing, the process won't change much. You'll still have to go straight through that broker to participate in their screening process and apply if you decide to move forward. Now, if you're dealing directly with the owner, this is where you really have a chance to stand out. It's likely that if you found something from the owner for no fee that other people have too, so competition could be fierce and you actually might be faced with some open house style listings where there's big groups of people touring the apartment at the same time. My advice to you in this situation is to almost treat it as a job interview and put together a pre-application package with the following: a well-written description of yourself. This is like what you're doing in the area, your job, etc. Your rental information like move-in dates, any pets, how many people in your group, references, credit score if it's strong, how long you've rented for in the past, and basically anything else to bolster that rental resume. And it might seem like overkill, but I'm telling you right now that this will put you in front of literally like 99% of other applicants, and it'll really impress the landlord. So as rewarding as it can be to save yourself thousands of dollars on a broker fee, I have to tell you, it usually takes quite a bit of effort and patience, since competition will be fierce. If you set out for a no-fee place and you find yourself struggling, or you just plain don't have the time, it could be in your best interest to just go through a broker and pay the fee. But that opens up another question of, how do you find a good rental agent? Now, having been in the industry since 2014, I can tell you that unfortunately the bar is set very low for rental agents. It's just a seasonal job. A lot of inexperienced agents come in and out looking to make quick money, or people are only dedicated part-time to it. So if you're not careful, a bad agent can totally compromise your apartment search and could actually end up costing you that dream apartment. Now, most people will view a listing they really like on Zillow or somewhere else and assume that the agent listing that apartment is who you have to go through to rent it. This is completely false. You do not have to do this. The listing being marketed by the agent is actually the property of their brokerage. Now, this means that you can use any agent in that brokerage to rent the listing. And do yourself a favor. Find the brokerage associated with the listing you like. Search for that brokerage's website and find their agent roster, which most of them have. Look for an agent with 2 or more years experience in their bio, or if they don't have that, you can look at like Google, you could look at Yelp, LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere you can search for feedback on that brokerage and the agents within that brokerage. Now, keep in mind that even if a brokerage doesn't have the best overall reviews, there's almost always some good agents within that organization. Okay, so I'll show you a real life example here. This is just a screenshot from the Zillow listing that I pulled up earlier in the video. I'm gonna go ahead and just zoom in on this agent info so you can see the agent and the company they work for. This company I know in Boston has a lot of listings. So I'm just gonna head over to their website right now, and I'm actually on their agent roster page. As you can see here, all the agents in that company, some of them have bios, some of them don't. So what I'm gonna do is look for other sources to try to find agents at this company. So I'm heading over to Google here. I just brought up their main office, and as you can see, there's a bunch of good reviews, and a lot of them name specific agents. So this is how I would locate sort of solid agents within brokerages, and you can repeat this for any amount of brokerages and many different areas. So once you find a capable agent, they will make your apartment search infinitely easier. They'll have better knowledge of how to navigate the market, more connections, better negotiating skills. The list just goes on and on. Now, the next thing to know is that every brokerage has different and unique listings. So even if you found a good agent, they'll only be able to show you what they have in their inventory. If you notice a brokerage that seems to have a lot of listings to advertise, it's a good idea to go through the steps above and find a solid agent within that brokerage. If you notice a few good companies, it's totally okay to work with several agents at the same time. You do not have to feel bad about that. This way you can view the maximum number of listings with experienced agents, and that is how to get the most value out of your broker fee. Now, I hope I was able to enlighten you on the interesting world of apartment broker fees. I wish you all the best of luck in your apartment search. If you enjoyed this video, please give Rome Rich a follow, because we are putting out more material like this in our goal of spreading financial intelligence to the masses. As always, thank you for roaming with us.